everything changes.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching the video last night. Today's Tuesday, the 28th of April, almost done this month. And there was a flurry of news out of Amazon having to do with C-19. Those of you new to this channel or new to YouTube in general, saying the other words could potentially get our videos removed or demonetized or both. So we use the words C-19 here. Feel free to use the words in the comment section, however. So out of Amazon, the first thing, and this was today from Alina Selku from NPR, and she basically said that the New York State Attorney General's office is saying that Amazon broke protocol and possibly the law. Now, if you remember in my other videos, if you haven't seen them, check them out. There were some employees who tested positive in New York City, Staten Island in particular, and apparently he raised concerns publicly about the safety measures being taken at Amazon's packing warehouses, the one on Staten Island, and there was another story about the one in the Bronx, I think, and he was fired. And so Amazon says that that employee, and his last name was Smalls, I think it was Christian Smalls, was fired because of his lack of safety and quarantining measures. He said he was fired because Amazon didn't want him to go public with the lack of safety measures that they're using at their warehouses and how they're endangering employees. So it's kind of still a back and forth. Amazon's fighting it. He's fighting it. He's filing lawsuits for wrongful termination and the state's attorney against, the state's attorney against Amazon. So we'll see how that plays out. So that was the first thing that the Attorney General actually came out and said it's possible that not only did they violate those health measures that he brought up, but also that they've now violated the termination law by wrongfully firing him. So that's going to be interesting to see. In response, and this was also separately, and Kayleen Deese from The Hill HD, thanks for this story, that Friday, May 1st, Amazon employees along with Walmart, FedEx, Whole Foods, which you guys know Amazon owns, and several other companies, Target, Instacart, all kinds, are passing around things. It's called a May Day general strike. May Day, like play on words, May Day, and then May Day, like emergency, are walking out striking on Friday against health conditions. Companies not taking this seriously or protecting them enough. And I have this here, and I'll also, while I'm talking, you'll probably see the stories linked up in the corners. And so, again, Amazon, Whole Food, Target, Instacart, Walmart, FedEx, all kinds of companies saying that, or employees saying the companies aren't taking care of them enough. And so you can read the story. All these stories that I'm mentioning, I'll link below. And they mentioned the Christian Smalls story again. And so that's why they're all striking to try to protect themselves. And Amazon did respond earlier today, at least in the Jacksonville, Florida area. If you don't know, I'm from Florida, so it's about 3 hours away from me, that they have started using thermal cameras at their facility when every employee comes in, almost like a metal detector. You got to stop and get scanned. It's going to check for body temperature. Obviously, if you have a temperature, there's a chance you could be sick. It's not a guarantee, but it's one thing they're checking for. And they are also implementing these in states such as Washington, California, and New York, where coincidentally enough, most of the strikes are going to happen. It's going to happen nationwide, but that's where the big populations are, of course. And so it's also installing these cameras at operation locations. That would probably be in the Seattle area where their corporate headquarters are. They also have other corporate headquarters across the country and across the world, I imagine. And so they also said that they have made more than 150 process changes, sanitation changes, deploying face masks, 6 feet policies, workstations being separated, all these different things. So they're responding to the Attorney General and to these employees who say they're not being taken care of. Amazon is saying, yes, we are. We're doing all of these things, the best that we can. And so I'm interested to see how it plays out. This is from Janice Harris, and she's at News for Jacksonville, again, 3 hours away from me up north, Jacksonville on the coast. So I would kind of want to see those thermal cameras. Now, they asked, News for Jax actually asked Amazon for a virtual tour of the Jacksonville facility, and they were declined by the media department of Amazon. So that's kind of interesting. The last thing is that Amazon also announced that they're going to end the unlimited time off policy for warehouse workers at those FBA warehouses. So warehouse employees who want to stay home out of concerns over C-19 will have to apply for a leave of absence. And so that's a difference. So when you get unlimited time off, you just go home, you're off. Leave of absence is like an official, more like almost, I think it puts them in a position. This has got to be legal where Amazon can kind of lay you off or fire you, I would imagine. Not really sure. So some Amazon workers have called on the company to offer paid leave to everyone and be proactive about shutting down fulfillment centers where workers fall ill. Many feel exposed because of the nature of their job, which can require coming into contact with hundreds of people every day. You're working in a warehouse where there's thousands of workers, you're passing boxes, you're passing each other. I've never been in an Amazon warehouse, but I imagine that's what it's like. The company expanded paid leave to those who are told to self-quarantine and raised their pay by $2 an hour for a starting wage of $17. So they did kind of try to help there. It has resisted making paid time off universal, saying that workers that are afraid of getting sick or needing to care for sick family members can take unlimited unpaid time off. So they're willing to let you take off. They're just not going to pay you for it. Kind of can't blame them too much. You know, you get a certain amount of paid time off. It's beyond their control. It's beyond your control. It's an act of God, essentially. And so what are they supposed to do? They can't pay thousands of people hundreds of millions of dollars who aren't working, right? They can't expect you to work. They can't pay you if you're not working. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Interested how you feel about that. Down in the comments, put it. Now that the time off policy is coming to an end, many warehouse workers are concerned they'll be forced to come back to work before they're ready. So people are thinking, you know, it's either my job or my health, which do I choose? Amazon will only approve personal leaves of absence for emergencies and circumstances related to C-19, while workers who are ill should go on a medical leave of absence. So in other words, if you get it or you've been exposed, you're taking care of somebody, medical leave of absence. Workers aren't even clear on the rules. Hafsa Hussein, who works in an Amazon fulfillment center in Shakopee, Minnesota. I should know that. Hassan was one of about 50 workers who walked out on Sunday over the time off policy, and 3 of their colleagues at that center who had been diagnosed with C-19. So they're really getting concerned about it. In a statement, an Amazon spokesperson said, "We are providing flexibility with leave of absences and expanding the policy to cover C-19 circumstances such as high-risk individuals or school closures." So I imagine if somebody has a kid, they're a single parent, work for Amazon, they can't take care of their kid because their kid's off school, they would have to kind of work around that. There's a lot of different variables to take into account. The spokesperson also noted the Amazon $2 an hour pay increase, 40 hours, $80, $320 a month, less taxes. It's okay. Their overtime policies also would be extended until May 16th. They're hiring 175,000 additional workers. That's a lot. It was 100,000. Some of the workers are taking the end of the unlimited leave policy as a sign to go back to work or risk losing their jobs. I assure you, part of that 175,000 workers has a lot to do with not wanting to lose their jobs, knowing that so many more people are coming on that they are almost going to be expendable. Rachel Bells, who works in a fulfillment center in West Deptford, New Jersey, said she's been home on unpaid leave since late March because she worries about infecting several high-risk people she lives with, including her young son. Where she lives, school is canceled till May 15th. Bells hasn't been able to apply for a leave of absence despite trying multiple times. She said on a call organized by United for Respect, a workers' right group which she is a member. "I was not even able to complete the form and answer the questions that it requires to formally file for a leave of absence. If you're expecting people at a high volume to apply for this, you need to work out the kinks." So they're making it difficult. Unsafe at work. Compounding the issue of time off is the contention of many workers that warehouses are hotbeds of sickness. Workers said that cleaning wipes, hand sanitizers, gloves, and masks remained scarce. You would think Amazon, with all that inventory, would be able to come up with some masks and some hand sanitizer and soaps and things to keep them clean inside of those warehouses. So that's a problem all in itself. Come on, Amazon, get with it. Jordan Flowers works at the Staten Island, New York. That's the other one that started all this. And they've only made hand sanitizer available in the main break room, meaning it takes time to walk over and get. He also said worker crowding continues in some departments, and he's seen 8 people on top of each other in some days. Again, I've never been in an Amazon warehouse, but I could imagine it's crazy in there. So this is the rest of the story. I'll link this. This final one came out of CBS News by Irina Ivanova. Ivanova, and that was updated today at 7 p.m., so just a little while ago. And I'll link it as always. All 4 of these will be below. What do you think about Amazon's policies, their warehouse, their workers? Do any of you work for Amazon? Do any of you have any experience that you can comment below? We'd love to see it and read about it, and we'd love to hear your story if you do. Feel free to remain completely anonymous if you're scared of backlash, because it seems like a lot of people are. But either way, I'd love to hear it in the comments, and I'll be happy to respond to those. So thank you, as always, for watching. Wait and see what happens with Amazon, how they handle these workers, how Amazon continues forward in the next couple of months, and what kind of policies they implement for their workers. Now, the craziest thing, I saved this for the end, is that Amazon actually has said they are in the process. In the early days, the senior vice president, Jay Carney, who's always on CNN and the other ones, that they're assembling their own laboratory to test for C-19. The company has added over 200,000 additional workers. It just said 175,000, the other one, but 200, to meet increased demand onset by the pandemic. They are building their own laboratory, and I saw this on another link. They could have it ready in 3 to 6 months, where literally you could just walk into a room, or, like one of those tubes that you walk in at the airport to get searched, and it would do a test instantly without having to jam it down your nose or without having to go to a doctor. You just walk in and whoop. Now, that's going to be a prototype, 3 to 6 months. How far out it would be for widespread testing, who knows? But that's crazy. Amazon building their own lab, mini labs, of course. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So I'll link these. Thanks as always. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll be happy to read all these comments. I can't wait to see them. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.